So, ladies and gentlemen, you should have a piece of paper, and if you end up to be a fire hazard, we're gonna, it's okay. Folks, my name is Jack Rosenbaum, and I have the privilege of being the director of the March of the Living for the southern region of the United States, which is closely affiliated with the Jewish Federation of South Palm Beach County, and we're really one of the proud programs of our community, and we welcome you, veteran parents, new parents, and everybody else. We're going to give you a lot of information this evening, and I'm really glad that you're all here. And please, please, as much as possible, pay attention. You have an agenda that's in front of you that we're going to elaborate upon, and we hope that it will give you information. If you have a pen, it might be a good idea to write some notes. If you don't have a pen, take out your phone, but please put it on silent. Thank you. And we are, I believe, we are live streaming this for our families that are remote. We have students from North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta. We have staff from other parts of the country that are live streaming this, and we welcome you to this event that we have every year, our parent and student our parent and student orientation. So I got to tell you something. This doesn't happen on its own, the March of the Living. Okay, it is a situation where we have more than 35 people, many of which have been on our committee, a lay committee, since we started. And we started here in 1995, 1996 as the southern region of the United States. We broke off from Broward and Dade, who run their own marches. Broward County does their own march, Dade County does their own march. Sometimes there are kids that cross boundaries for various reasons, which is great. We all cooperate with each other. And it's really a very special time because we are going to be doing things with our southern friends. What I would like to do is tell you that because these 35 people that make the March of the Living happen, these are lay people that care about the march, the vast majority of whom have been on the March of the Living. But we have chairs of our committee. One of our chairs is unable to be here tonight. Her name is Deborah Rudman. Some of you know Debbie. And our other co-chair is Phyllis Gutman, who many of you know probably from Donna Klein. Phyllis is, God knows how many years have we been doing this together, but a lot. But I'd like to introduce you to Phyllis Gutman.
I'd like to welcome all of you. It's nice to see some familiar faces. There are lots of familiar students that I actually taught that probably hate my guts, but that's okay. I also see a lot of parents that I have come to know over the years. As Jack has said, I am the co-chair with Deborah Rudman of the March of the Living here in Boca. I have known about the march since 1990 when my daughter went on the march. That's a very long time ago, and it was a very different march. And I was fortunate enough to go on the first adult bus in 2010. I will tell you that the friendships and the experiences that we had, especially the friendships, are still in effect to this day. We meet a few times a year, and we catch up with everything that's happening with everything. The march is a really special trip. It is a wonderful experience for your children, and they're going to come home after 2 weeks as different children. A lot of them will come home as adults rather than children. I am very, I love doing this, and at this point I would like to ask the staff members and any of the committee members who are here in the audience to stand up. We don't have any. We know we have some. I'd like to call Rabbi Englander up to do the Devar Torah. You are going to be getting a lot of information tonight, and it's very important that you listen, and some of your children may not like some of the information, but it's for their own safety and good.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. So I want to start by saying that I personally am looking forward to traveling with your children. I want to thank you for your commitment to the march, and I want to thank you for making it happen for them. They really are in very good hands with a wonderful and dedicated staff that will care, and be there for them day to day through what is a challenging journey. I was on the march in the year 2000, in my first spring as a rabbi, and my first spring as a rabbi at B'nai Torah. I have since done quite a few weddings and some baby namings for kids of those kids. Time goes fast. And with respect to the staff members that have been on many, many marches, I said back then that I would go back if one of my own kids, none of whom had even been born yet, might eventually ask me to go with them. So this year I am going as a rabbi, but also as a parent of a marcher. In addition to everything that is unpredictable about what will impact them, and me as well, over these 2 packed weeks, these are the 3 main changes that I anticipate trying to understand the effect of from 19 years ago until today. First of all, in 2000, buckle your seatbelts, nobody carried a phone with them. The iPhone did not even come out until 2007. As you know, your kids will be much easier to stay in touch with, and it will be much easier for us to get them needed information when they are not in our direct line of sight. And that is good. But the barrier that phones create between people, connecting us more broadly than ever before, but also mostly in a shallower way, that barrier will be down for most of our trip. The march in both Poland and Israel is not experienced through a screen or a 2-dimensional interaction, and it can be a shock to the system. Bearing witness to the sites where the worst atrocities in the history of our people, as diabolical as any in the history of the world, this lays bare some profound emotions, sadness, devastation, and the unanswerable question of why. And going from Poland straight to Israel will fill us up with pride and affirmation of the capacity of the Jewish people to grow and thrive in ways that most have never experienced. A 2-week trip from the lowest lows of humanity to the highest achievement of our people. It makes a real and lasting impact that will lead to your child coming back better prepared to commit to helping to build the Jewish future. Second, in 2000, we had survivors on our trip who experienced the Shoah as adults. Young adults, but still they knew of the horrors of roll calls and lineups, of slave labor and of forced marches. We are honored and we are privileged once again to travel with survivors, now those who came through the Shoah as children with their own early memories. Their testimony is so valuable, yet it is also different than those who could tell a different story, many of whom are now no longer with us. We will tell their stories too, and we will make sure that our kids will tell their kids. That is a commitment that needs to come out of this experience. Lastly, as I mentioned, for the first time, I'm going as a parent, and that will be a great difference between 19 years ago and now. One need not be a parent in order to absorb some of the massive impacts of what we are experiencing on the march, but parents do see and feel these experiences in a way that causes all of us to shudder at the horror of what took place really just a short time ago, to commiserate with the plight of parents separated from children and children from parents. One outcome of this trip is often that our kids feel more gratitude for the life that you have helped to build for them and the opportunities you have provided for them. Please, don't expect a full report on the ride home from the airport. The stories will come, the pictures will help, and the processing takes a good long while. Please participate in any and all follow-up events and gatherings that you can and encourage your students to do so. The Torah commands us in connection to the doings of Amalek, the prototype of unjust and unjustified harm that is inflicted on those who cannot defend themselves, to remember and also to not forget. I promise you that your students will never forget the experience that we will soon embark on together. It will be their task and responsibility to also actively remember by sharing what they saw, the teachings they heard, and living the lessons embedded in the March of the Living, which include to know our Jewish past so they can commit to helping to build a strong Jewish future, to show respect and honor for every person as we are all created in the image of God, and to affirm human dignity so that what happened to our people will never again happen to us or to anyone, anywhere. So thank you for making this investment in your children's future. I know that it will be a great and positively transforming experience.
Thank you, Rabbi. But by the grace of God, we are able to travel with survivors. We have 4 survivors that will be traveling with the student buses, and 3 of them are here today. One lives in New York, so she wasn't able to make it, but she's going to be traveling with her granddaughter, which is very special to us. But I'd like to introduce our survivors to you, and if you don't mind, survivors, stand up when I call your name. I can't find the third one. He's probably sitting with you guys in the audience. Oh, there he is. Anya Baum, please stand and face the audience for a moment. Anya, turn around, face the audience. Anya's going to be the survivor on the green bus. If you don't mind, remain standing for a moment. Rosette Goldstein. This will be Anya's 2nd march, Rosette's 6th march. Rosette is going to be on the red bus. Do I remember? Okay, good. I actually remember. I'm amazed. And finally, Samron. Samron will be on his 11th march. And he's the granddaddy of them all. He's an amazing person, as are all of our survivors, and they teach us so much. And the thing we'll tell the kids, and we also tell the parents if you want to, don't ever hesitate to ask a question to a survivor, because they want to tell you. That's why they go on the trip. So guys, thank you. We love you. So I want to talk about security. You know, the world is a crazy place. Unfortunately, the Jewish people are having a lot of challenges in this world. And I want to tell you what's happening on the March of Living in both countries so you know what's happening. Where we go in Poland, there are police at every single site. Every single March of Living group has a police presence in a police car, at least one, depending on how many people are going to be there. Each of the buses have a GPS. In other words, we give them our itinerary. If we divert a little, they will call us and say, what are you doing? And that doesn't happen too often because we pretty much keep to our schedule. So we're very aware of that, and there's a central office that really keeps track of where we go. There's Polish security, there's Israeli security, and they're on 24/7. We have direct lines to those individuals. Our guides, in Poland, they're known as pilots. In Israel, they're known as guides. They have a direct line also when and if there's any needs. On each bus, there is an armed guard, and that person is always watching out for us, like around, and that's what they do. And we've been doing this for a long time. That's why we stuck with the March of the Living, because we are very, for lack of a better term, comfortable with the security that we have. We're going to walk in the streets of Krakow. We're going to walk in the streets of Tarnów. We're going to walk in the streets of Warsaw. And we've done this ever since we started, with our guards with us, and our guides, our pilots, and our staff, which we've spent a lot of time with our staff talking about walking in those cities with our students. And it's important that you know that we watch out. We really do. And again, they know where we're going. In Israel, the places we will not go are the so-called territories, Judea, Samaria, Gaza, whatever you call them. We don't go there because the International March of Living doesn't allow groups to go there. So we go according to those rules. There are times when we have unprogrammed times. Some people know it as free time, whatever you call it. You know, there are different words for it, that we give the kids a chance to go places without us. We're nearby. And what we do is, because of security, we are obligated by the International March of the Living to check every backpack and every water bottle that comes back because of what's out there, because of security. It's really simple. So I wanted you to have a sense of this, but also in your packets, okay? There's, I think it's the second page, if everybody has that, if each family will take a look at that, okay? This is our security statement, which I'd like to read. Okay? The March of the Living is the most secure trip offered to Jewish teenagers in the world. The following extra precautions are in place, as I mentioned, and I'm going to repeat it. Bus security, armed guards on the bus as always. Hotel security, there's extra security in every single hotel. Mobile security, additional mobile units in each city and at large venues. Police and Israeli security. The Polish police, the army, Israeli security, and medical teams are on standby at all places our groups visit. In Poland, we're going to have 15,000 people, and in Israel, there's going to be about 8,000. So it's a very big enterprise, as you can guess. Daily security briefings happen, so we talk to our staff about things that they need to know security-wise. In Israel, bus security, one armed guard will be traveling on each bus. In restricted areas, Palestinian areas over the Green Line, March of the Living groups do not visit these areas. Police and Israeli security. Police and security agencies are informed of the itineraries of all March of the Living groups. All areas in Jerusalem outside of the Arab Shuk are cleared to have groups walking during the day as planned. In large venues, there are well-secured areas in commemoration of Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day, because you know we're going to be there on the trip for 3 different modern Jewish holidays, and also the celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut, Independence Day. They take place and will have double the security protection that they normally do. We will go to malls and markets in Israel, and we are, depending on the instructions that we get from the authorities, we will visit shopping malls such as the Carmel Shuk in Tel Aviv. Visitation. It's really important people understand this, and we hope that everybody will cooperate in this area in both countries. No one may visit our trip except for pre-authorized visitation forms that are fully completed by your families. If you haven't gotten to it, we have extra forms, and Ronit's going to address that a little bit later. But we cannot have people coming and visiting us on our trip in both countries, especially in Israel, because a lot of us have family and friends. We've had questions, but we just can't have it because of our experience. We know what happens. So please honor that. We really appreciate your cooperation in that area. The only visitation time will be through authorized forms that you have tonight. They're on the website, and we'll talk about it. And as I mentioned, in each country, we will have daily security briefings. So I hope that will allay any fears that you have. We will take questions at the end. So if there's any questions about that, write down a question so you don't forget it, and we're happy to answer it. So it's my pleasure to call up 2 very special people that are on our trip. Dr. Alan Seidowitz, who is our medical doctor on the trip, and also Ronit Edrich, our Associate Director for the March of the Living Southern Region.
Good evening. So I'm here with Dr. Alan Seidowitz, who is a local internist here in Boca, and we're so fortunate to have him traveling with us on this trip. And he has been overseeing all of the medical records that we have, and will be our doctor in charge on this trip. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Seidowitz.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I happened to be fortunate enough to do this trip approximately 11 years ago as the physician. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my entire life. I'm now fortunate, as Dr. England has said, to actually go on this trip with a child, to experience this incredible moment. One thing that I learned 11 years ago is that this trip, and really for the teenagers that are coming on this trip, this is going to be one of the most grueling trips that you're ever going to make in your life, both physically and mentally. Sleep is important. We start early in the morning and we don't get back till late at night, and we're back up early the next morning. I'm begging you, please take advantage when you get back to the hotel rooms. Take advantage of the sleep. The next thing I'm going to ask is that everybody please make sure that they keep well hydrated during the trip. You should have water bottles every day. Please do not share with anybody. It's not a sign of being nasty to your friend, but do not drink from anybody else's bottles. Once that happens, it becomes a domino effect of everybody getting sick. Please believe me, it happens. So no sharing of food, no sharing of water bottles, get sleep. I have everybody's medical record. If any of the parents or anybody wants to come and talk to me afterwards, if there's anything special that you need me to know, I'll be happy. I'll kind of stand on the side and be happy to talk to anybody if there's anyone that wants to ask any questions, or just tell Renita and I if there's anything else that we need to know over and above the medical records. We are going to ask that for people that are taking medications that you have a spare bottle somewhere, that there's more than one bottle of medication, because once we get into Poland, if you don't have your medication, if whatever, your luggage is not easily accessible, it becomes very difficult. So please, parents, please make sure that those of your kids that are on medication, that they have extra with them. Same goes for contact lenses and contact lens solutions and all your day-to-day stuff. For the kids, sorry, the teenagers, I take that back. My daughter's looking at me, not so happy right now. It is a grueling trip. As I said, both physically and mentally, you're going to have a lot of support from everyone, from your bus captain, and going on and going down the list of people on your buses. I'm an open book. If there's anything that I can do for you guys, please don't hesitate to come and talk to me. Just for day-to-day stuff, the bus captains are going to have throat lozenges and whatever, Tylenol and anything else that might go. They will have that available. But if you need anything, please come and ask me. Please come and talk to me. If you cannot find me, I know that one of the bus captains will be able to find me. If you have questions, just please feel free to stop me. I am always available. I am there for you guys. That's what this is about. I wish you all just an incredible, amazing trip, and I look forward to sharing it with you.
Thank you. So I know we spoke a little bit about medication, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands medication should be in your carry-on bag. At least one set of your medication should always be in your carry-on bag in the event that you become separated with your luggage. So make sure that you have your medication with you, and also a copy of the generic prescription. We spoke a little bit about the difficulty in Poland. It is a little bit more challenging if you do not have the generic version of your prescription, because they call them different names, correct? So I also want to take the opportunity to introduce to you two very important people that will be on our trip, Debbie Lipson and Alice Tennis over here. They are our social clinicians that will be traveling with us. Debbie, this is your third march, am I correct? Yeah, this is Debbie's third, and Alice's first. And they will be a wonderful resource for all of our teens traveling with us, and they're here to kind of give some guidance and moral support. Okay, so I want to address a little bit about emergencies that we haven't spoken about. Dr. Okay. Dr. Sadowitz will be with us, but in the event that we do need to take your child to the hospital, the March of the Living has specified hospitals in both countries that we go to, and everything has been arranged beforehand. So we are in contact directly with the International March of the Living, and they tell us in each city where we would need to go. They also have doctors on staff from the International March of the Living that will help facilitate the process. So just know that we are prepared. We have those numbers ready to go in the event that, in the unlikely event that there is an emergency. So we are well prepared for that. One thing that is really important is that if your child has had a change in medication, condition, any type of treatment, it's really important that you let us know. We will be available afterwards, but please, we need all that information emailed to us so that we can have that information. So if your child is now on a different medication, please send me an email tomorrow and say, listen, I'm just letting you know that this is what my child is on. If the dosage has changed, it's important that we know that as well. All the information that you share with me via email, and I know all of you have my email address because I've communicated with each of you, all of the information you share with me, I will then share with Dr. Sadowitz. So please update us on anything that has changed. If you could put that in writing, that's very helpful, because now we're on the fly and I just want to make sure that we have everything accurate. Okay, now I'm going to call upon Jack to talk a little bit about our next topic.
So I'm happy that Deborah Rudman has arrived, and I'm so glad to see you. Don't get embarrassed. Debbie has been with the March of Living since the beginning, really, the Wayback Machine when we first started. And Debbie, just say hello to everybody. Debbie is one of our chairs, and she's been with us. She's among our supporters. And I know there are so many people in the audience that can appreciate what Debbie does with our, and along with Phyllis, with our committee. Did I embarrass you? I'm sorry. Okay. Also, you got to know that this is not just this grueling trip that we're talking about. It's also a very spiritual experience. And you met Rabbi Englander, who was on the trip with me. Actually, we shared a bus that year, 20 years ago. And we also have two other rabbis that'll be with us. Rabbi Josh Brody, who you know, and Rabbi, I don't know where you are, but if you're here, I'm looking right at him, right? Okay, I'm looking right past him. I'll stand up for a second so people know who you are. Rabbi Josh Brody. And also Rabbi Moshe Nachbar. I'm not sure where you are, Rabbi, but if you're here, please stand for a moment. So, like I said, you're over there. And besides the incredible staff that we have a mixture of veterans. 15 or 16 people have been on the trip before as staff members, and along with another 8 or 10 that have not. And we've gone through some training experiences, so you know that we hope that you know that you're in really good hands. On the next part of the agenda, we really need to talk about conduct, how we conduct ourselves on the trip. There's something known as, it's kind of a legal term, you lawyers will correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but it's in loco parentis. We are taking the responsibility, for lack of a better term, to make sure that this trip is as safe as possible, first of all, and as healthy as possible, very close to that, first of all, and then everything else follows. That's the most important thing to us. So when indeed there might be a time when we get very tired, we might leave early or postpone something or not do something. It really depends. But know that because we are in loco parentis and we are watching and taking care of the individual students that are with us collectively and individually, all of you, when you signed up for this, on that website, you signed an agreement with us, parents and students. And that agreement is that on this very special trip, with the individuals that you're going with, the survivors, the rabbis, our incredible staff, and each other, that we understand that it's not a joke. We're going to have a great time. Trust me. There are many wonderful, fabulous, fun times that we have. But it's not a joke, and we're very serious about your safety. And your safety includes the fact that today, nowadays, and probably many parents here, if you're an American, you went through it too. We went to high school too. And there are a lot of challenges that pose themselves to each one of you in school. And we know it exists. And each one of our students, whether they are party goers, whether they're not party goers, they have challenges that include actions such as consuming drugs, alcohol, vapes, Juuls, e-cigarettes, all that other stuff that's out there nowadays. We have a zero tolerance policy for that. We don't expect that to be brought. We don't expect that to be bought. We don't expect anything like that to happen on the trip. Indeed, we know that some individuals, and we've had experiences like this, respond better to these type of guidelines. There might be a student sitting in this room right now that couldn't care less about those guidelines. It's happened before. We are not policemen. We're not going to do that. We don't believe in that. We want you to take from us everything we're giving you. That's what we want. And our hope is that every single person, because at your interviews we did talk to each one of you, and we spoke to you about if you're placing yourself in a position or you're in a position that you just happen to be in, and someone's doing something that you're not supposed to do, and you don't come and tell us and let us know so that either we can put a stop to it or whatever, and you didn't do anything, but you're there and we happen upon the situation, you too will go home. Parents, you need to know this. That if your child is there and they're not doing anything, whatever it is, but they're there, they will go home too. And it's at your expense, unfortunately. It's a reality of teenage trips, folks. And I hope that each one of you, each family, will go home tonight and really have a serious discussion about this. Because I've been in that position of sending a student home. It's the worst position I've ever been in my career. Because the trust is broken, and it's painful. And sometimes people get taken down in that process. So please, please take this incredibly serious, and we'll have an incredible experience. Remember who you're with, where you're going, what you're doing. And when peer pressure starts to happen, and it might, don't succumb. Not worth it. Also, a couple other things. Each country, believe it or not, they really do, they have undercover drug agents all over the place in both countries. They really do. And we go to a lot of tourist areas. The airports, they do have sniffing dogs. They do. We will utilize a breathalyzer if we have a suspicion that there's an individual that has drank something, whatever the word is, drunk. And we hope that at the times that we afford our teenagers the ability to go out by themselves with a group of friends, in Israel in particular, that those decisions, when we tell you the rules and they're on those guidelines, that code of conduct that we all signed, not to go into a bar, okay, not to purchase anything that you shouldn't purchase, as well as the times that we're in the hotels, because the hotels have bars in them, especially in Poland. In Israel, I don't think the youth hostels do, as far as I know. And we just, it's off limits. It's really that simple. So we don't expect to see people there. Somebody that leaves the group, wanders off, okay? It's not acceptable. We got to stay together. That's why the March to Living is considered the safest trip out there. These things can lead to, again, sending a student home if indeed they're not cooperative in those particular areas. Visitation in an opposite gender's room. If a staff member comes by and says you can't be here and you have to go out, but if you keep doing it, we're going to call your parents and say we have to send the person home because they just don't get it. They just don't get it. We also are very serious about engaging in, let's put it this way, unacceptable intimate relations, okay? And we hope that you won't place yourself in that position. Whatever happens, wait till after the 2 weeks are over. The hotels, we're in public, so we're also representing not just Boca Raton and not just the southern region of the United States, the March to Living, but we're representing the Jewish people, and we're out there. And there's going to be kids from all over the world. 45 countries are going to be represented. And different countries have little different guidelines than we do, but these guidelines that we're telling you are international March to Living guidelines. Students, you know that morning tefillah is required. We have Rabbi Englander as a conservative rabbi, Rabbis Nachbar and Brody are Orthodox rabbis. We also have individuals that are very familiar with Reform services, and those things will be offered for the morning services at different times during the trip. There will always be a mincha and a ma'ariv. Mincha is the afternoon service, ma'ariv is the evening service, and students will be urged to go, but that's not required. Okay, so that'll happen at certain times during the day, not necessarily in the schedule per se, but will happen. And just bottom line, a general lack of cooperation, an attitude that we just didn't see when we interviewed you, and unfortunately that has happened in the past. I've been doing this for a while, and some kids give great interviews and they get on the trip and it just didn't work for them. So my hope and my prayer is that each one of you, will take it inside yourself, reflect and say, yeah, I'm going on this trip and this is going to be an incredible experience for myself, and I'm not going to allow myself to be taken down. Rabbi Englander mentioned that wonderful word, cell phones. The march has changed. In the beginning, trust me, the phones didn't exist. You weren't allowed to bring a phone. we've gotten used to it. And I know a lot of you might be doing your journals on the phone. We hope that you've uploaded it. And a lot of you will be taking notes on your phones. And you're going to be on Facebook and things like that. That's fine. There's no issue. We just ask you, students, and parents know this, is that when we have our programming, is that the phones are not interruptive. Know that more than half of our staff are giving up their time, and they have businesses at home, and they will be on their phones sometimes, and you'll hear a phone ring, and the staff member will answer it, and they'll do as privately as possible if indeed they have to conduct business at home. And obviously all the leaders will have phones because we're in constant communication with each other and with the international office. Ronit is going to pick up on a couple other administrative items that will continue on your agendas. And then a little bit after that, we'll take some questions. And thank you.
Okay, so I want to go through some information that I know many of you are concerned about and really want to know. In the packet that you received, I believe it's the last page, it has emergency contact information. Our emergency contact individual will be with us on the trip. I implore you, please do not call unless it is a dire emergency. We're really busy programming with your child, and only if it's an extreme emergency. Please do not, an emergency doesn't constitute, I haven't seen my child in a picture. If you haven't seen your child in a picture, send them a text. Just want to make sure everything's okay. So please, we really ask that only if it's a dire emergency, contact that emergency local number. And please bear in mind that we are 6 hours ahead in Poland, 7 hours ahead in Israel. And our preference is if you could send a text to that number, because the likelihood is that we're on the go, we're busy moving around. So again, only if it's an absolute dire emergency should you call that number. And it's Shana Chazen, and we will introduce you to her in just a short while. Okay? So for the next part, many of you guys have been waiting for this long-awaited moment of our March of the Living gear. So I'm going to take a moment and show you what's inside the backpack. Rabbi Brody, do you think you can come and help model a little bit? Thank you. So we're going to show you, each individual is going to get a backpack that looks like this with 2 luggage tags on the backpack. These are incredibly important. Incredibly important. One will go on your rolling duffel or suitcase. The second one will go on the backpack itself. My new model here. Yeah, here's the March of the Living backpack. Inside, not that. You will get a March of the Living baseball jersey that is to be worn on the day that you travel, as well as on the march itself. Okay, so this should be worn to the airport on April 28th when you guys are flying out. In addition, not that, you will have a journal inside. Many of you had asked for a digital journal, which you have already. Remember, you can go on the App Store, March of the Living Southern Region, download. We recommend it, even though you have one of these as well. We highly recommend. Go to the March of the Living, go to the App Store, and March of the Living Southern Region, download the digital app, but here is a copy of the journal. You have the Siddur that you requested. Each person, there's either Reform, Conservative, or Orthodox, so depending on what you requested is what's inside. You will also receive a string backpack inside. This is new. And the reason for this is because when we go into Auschwitz, Birkenau, they do not allow us to carry big backpacks in. This is it, whatever fits in here. So water bottle, your journal, and that's really it. So this is really very useful. We recommend putting your name someplace inside so you know that it's yours. Nope. And the much-awaited jacket. Here's the jacket. And on the collar of the jacket, you'll see the March of the Living Southern Region pin. Okay, so our jackets look like this. They're a lightweight jacket. And it's great for layering. So what you'll need to do is check the weather forecast about 10 days out. We're still a little too early. So as we get a little bit closer, take a look. But we recommend layering with sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts. Sometimes performance shirts are great. Thank you. In addition, there should also be an I March with Sam pin on the jacket. Sam, our survivor, who has marched with us so many times, it's a special pin, for him. Okay, food. Many of you have asked us about supplemental food, what kinds of snacks, etc., should we take. So what we recommend is this: all of the food is kosher. Okay, in both countries, it's the hechsher is underneath the chief rabbinate of Israel in Poland as well. The food is flown in from from Israel into Poland. The milk is not chalav Yisrael. Okay, it is kosher, but it is not chalav Yisrael. So for those of you that that require that, we want to let you know in advance. You're given a water bottle every day. It's a large water bottle. Our recommendation is to take a smaller one so that it's not so heavy, because large water bottles can be very cumbersome. So take a water bottle. All of the bus captains will have Sharpies, so they will write your name. They'll pass them around so you can write your name on them. But take a smaller water bottle so that you can kind of decant some of that water and not have to carry around such a heavy water bottle each day. Those of you that are pickier eaters or are gluten-free, vegans, etc., our recommendation is to supplement with protein bars. Think about the things that you like to snack on during the day to kind of get you through a very long day. We recommend, if you're not allergic to nuts, nuts are a great source of protein bars. Some people like to take packets of peanut butter or Nutella. Those are great things. Anything that can kind of get you through the day. But know yourself. If you are a picky eater, bring more. In Israel, the food is not as challenging. It's plentiful. There's a lot of variety. It's really getting through that 1 week in Poland. And the food is very nutritious. But please keep in mind that the International March of the Living is preparing 15,000 meals every day. Okay, we are anticipating 15,000 people. 15,000 people, 3 meals a day. The way the meals work are at breakfast, it's a buffet, and you can take what you want. And at breakfast, our students will be preparing their lunch. So from the buffet, they can choose what they want. If they've taken packets of peanut butter from home and they want to take that, or tuna, etc., they can bring that down, prepare their lunch, and they take it with them, because we're on the go for a very long day. At dinner, it's a buffet and it's a hot meal. There's schnitzel, there's meatballs, there's vegetarian options. There is lots of food. But if you are picky, please know yourself and bring enough to supplement you through the week in Poland. Okay? Weather. As I mentioned before, keep an eye on the weather. We do go out and about, rain or shine. So it's very important that you prepare and you take the items that you would need. And it's also very important that you waterproof anything that can be exposed to the elements. So in other words, your backpack, you should waterproof that as well. They sell waterproofing spray at outdoor and Dick's, Walmart, by the shoe department. Any of those outfitters have them. And it's very important that you waterproof your jacket, your March of the Living jacket, as well as your backpack and your shoes. So this way that you stay nice and dry. I also highly recommend a disposable rain poncho to throw over, because this way, when the rain stops, you can get rid of it. They fold up very small. Keep one in your backpack. You can get them also Walmart. They sell them online and Amazon as well. Okay, so very important. Rain or shine, we do go. We will march. We will visit the concentration camps in rain or shine. And as of right now, it's really too early to take a look at the weather, but it varies. It's spring. It could be cold. It could be warm. Last year we marched on the march in Poland. It was quite warm. It was very pleasant, but there are no guarantees. So keep an eye on the weather. Okay. The itinerary. The itinerary can be found on the website, molsouth.org. Click on the 2019 student bus tab. Scroll all the way down. You will find the itinerary. In addition, All of the information on the hotels can be found on the quick reference sheet that we handed out before. Those are the hotels we'll be staying at, along with the dates. The numbers are on there, but again, we ask that you please not call them. Passports. This is very important. We will be meeting all of our students in New York. Some of you will be in New York in advance of the trip, but we will be catching up with everyone in New York. When traveling, it's really important before we meet up with you that your passport is in a secure place in your carry-on bag. Please do not put your passport in your checked luggage. In the event that you become separated with your luggage, it will be problematic in JFK if you do not have it. So until we meet with you, we're going to ask that you place that in a very secure place in your carry-on luggage. Once we meet up with you in JFK, we are going to be giving you a neck wallet that looks something like this. It will have your name badge, and there is a zippered or Velcroed compartment for you to put your passport in. When we fly, you always keep your passport inside of the zippered compartment, which is back here, okay? Always. Never put your passport down on the counter. Never walk away from your passport. Very, very important that you're very careful of it. Those of you that are Israeli and having two passports, same thing. Keep both passports together inside the zippered compartment, and before you meet up with us, make sure that it's in a secure place. You also need to make sure that you have a copy of your pator. If you are Israeli and you're flying on an Israeli passport, while I have a copy of it, you need to have a copy as well. If you don't know what a pator is, you don't need one. Don't worry about it. But make sure that you have them together, okay? It should be together. Once we land in Poland, we will collect all the passports. We keep them labeled, and they are with a staff member at all times or locked away in a safe. So we take that very seriously. We will have them, and then we will hand them out again just before we fly to Israel. And the same thing will take place once we're in Israel. We'll collect them and then return them again just before we fly. So we hold on to them, but until we get to you and until we land, they are in your zippered compartment. Carry-on. We recommend that you take the March of the Living backpack as your carry-on and make sure that that luggage tag is clearly visible on it as well, because we use that for security reasons. Not only is it for identifying what bus, et cetera, but it's for our security. Inside of that backpack, when we travel, you should have your March of the Living jacket, 2 complete changes of clothing. Take a Ziploc bag and put 2 complete changes of clothing. I know it seems excessive, but it happens that you become separated with your luggage. It happened to us last year, and you're going to want it. So make sure that you have 2 clean T-shirts, underwear, socks, etc. You will be very pleased if you do, in the event. We don't anticipate it, but things happen. And put them in a Ziploc bag inside of your backpack. Put your toiletries. You will be very grateful to have your toothbrush, etc. And some snacks. Some snacks to get you through the airport. It will be a lot of hurry up and wait in the airport, so it's nice to have some snacks as well as on the plane. You should have your prescription medications along with the generic prescription for them, just in case. Your journal, a pen, that water bottle empty that we talked about before so that you don't have to carry so much. Rain gear, those disposable ponchos, I can't express to you enough how useful they are, and they take up very little space. Put one inside your backpack, and then you can pack the rest inside of your suitcase. Glasses, eyeglasses, make sure you put them in there. Extra pair of contacts. Sidor, your kippah, talit and tefillin if you're bringing them. All of those should go in the backpack. It does fit. I know it sounds like a lot, but it will fit in there. Just pack sensibly. And phone charger. The other thing that I kind of want to address is also, please do not bring valuables with you. This is a very simplistic trip when it comes to fashion and what to wear. Don't bring anything expensive or valuable. The March of the Living is not responsible for anything that's stolen or lost, but you really won't want it. So don't bring any jewelry. Less is more, and leave anything that's valuable and expensive at home. Okay. For the next part of our logistics, I'm going to call up Jack to go through a few more things.
Okay, in your packets, there's a sheet that has the domestic flights. You should everybody should have that, families. The flight numbers, times might have changed. That happens all the time, especially when you did it like 5, 6 months ago. That's what happens all the time. Check your airline, check online. We pretty much have everybody except maybe 4 or 5 families have not had an opportunity to get us the information. If your name is not found on this list, you gotta let us know ASAP, because if we don't know when you're coming in, we can't be there for you on that particular day. We really appreciate you guys coming earlier, because if it's a bad weather day somewhere in the country, it might affect your flight, and you don't want to miss that international flight. It's happened before, okay? So that's why we asked you to come in at least 3 to 4 hours before we're taking off. We're scheduled to take off around 5 o'clock, okay, on an El Al charter. So the information is there on the bottom. The charter flights are on the bottom. You can see the names. If you called El Al and you said, oh, I want to have a business class seat, they're going to say, we don't have the flight. And they're right, because they don't have the flight. It's a charter flight. So whatever you do, unless you're the president of the company, I'm not sure you're going to be able to do anything. As far as those domestic flights go, again, if you didn't find your name, you got to let us know what flight you're on, or that you're coming, so that we can do that. Now, on each, there's boxes there. Take a look at the sheet. We're going to use these sheets as a check-in to make sure that all of our students are there, and the staff. Some of our staff has really graciously stepped up as either flight leaders or individuals that will meet flights on the ground when we're in New York City. Many people are going to be in New York prior to Sunday, and that's great. But those of you that are coming in on that Sunday, know that those individuals that are there on your list in that particular box where your name is found, those are the individuals that you're going to be in touch with. You can interface with them. You might want to text them before the trip just to say, hey, I'm going to be on the flight, look for me. Some of them are going to fly. Some of them are meeting you halfway through your flights, because they're 2 flights, and it's a little complicated because we're all flying on different airlines and flights. But just be in touch with those individuals that are the people that you're going to meet. Shayna's going to be one of our coordinators on the ground in New York, as well as many other staff members, and we'll make sure that we get you over to the international terminal, which is Terminal 4 at JFK, in appropriate time. They don't want us to hang out at the terminal. We get pushed away because we're not the only people flying. There's 4 other March of the Living flights going out around the same times. So it becomes a little crazy, so we have to listen to the security that tells us what to do, and we'll make sure that we bring our group together. So trust us, we've done this a lot. It works very well, especially if you know what we're expecting of you when you land, okay? If there are any questions about that, I'll take them in a few minutes. A couple other things I wanted to go over with you. When you pack your check bag, the one that you're going to put underneath, if you're over 50 pounds, it's likely that your domestic airline is going to charge you. It's very likely that and it's happened before, that El Al is going to charge you, because they do that even on a charter flight. They will charge you for 50 pounds or more, which is 22 point something kilos. All you math people, you can say that. I never get that right. But please don't overpack. Ronit mentioned it's not a fashion show. It's not a fashion show. Okay, you don't have to wear a tie and jacket to shul on Shabbat morning. Not necessary. Okay? But, we have nicer clothes for Shabbat, of course. Modest clothes, for Israel when we go to the hotel, etc. And we also really ask everybody that this is a trip where, please, dress appropriately for this trip. Be aware that the suitcase should be no longer than 30 inches and wide. We have it on our pack list. It says it there. Around those dimensions, so you don't have to call us and say, do I have to have exactly this? Close to those dimensions, because remember, it's not just packing it on the airplane, it's also packing it under the buses, all right? And we switch hotels 5 times. So we're going to have 5 times that we're moving luggage back and forth. You have to carry your own luggage. We know that there are a lot of students and your bus captains who I'm about to introduce. I hope you guys are still here. So I'm going to ask Ivy Dash to please stand. Ivy, where are you? Ivy's up. Oh, they're up there. Okay, well, so we got, okay. So they're all together. This is great. Okay, so our bus captains are in the corner over there, and they're going to make sure that you have a lot more information over the next few weeks. So Ivy, wave. Ivy's going to be the bus captain of Purple Bus. And Sean Lang is the bus captain of Red Bus. Lori Nyberg is the bus captain of the Green Bus. And Marcy Schultz is the bus captain of the Blue Bus. So they've been in touch with you guys already. We've met by bus already. You're going to get a lot more information from them over the next few weeks. And we're happy to take phone calls, at the office if you have any questions to myself or Ronit or Lisa. Where is Lisa? Okay, Lisa Kauf is over there. Lisa is the person that you talk to a lot on the phone. Lisa, just wave so we know who you are. That's Lisa. So any questions, if you want to answer your questions tonight, please don't hesitate to call us or be in touch by texting or the group me that you have on your bus colors. The clothing list is on the website, okay? We have a couple copies in the back, but it's on the website on the student page. Visitation forms, if you haven't yet given that in, we need that very quickly because the International March of Living needs to know who is going to be visited and who's coming to visit us because of their security regulations. So please take care of that immediately and get it to us ASAP. Going back to packing, a lot of people use Ziploc bags. It really works, and you separate out and get ready. It's an idea. It really does work. I do that in my packing, so it helps me to get ready for what I wear. I just don't wear the same thing every day, although it looks like it because I wear the same shirt, but I have like 7 of them, I promise, all right? We also ask you, you probably know this because we mentioned it, but we do a very special program with Beit El Azraqi. It's a children's home in Israel. And we have a very wonderful relationship. We go there on Erev Yom HaZikaron and actually are with them with their ceremony. And we ask our students to bring a small gift. For the younger kids, like a stuffed animal, Hot Wheels, a puzzle, whatever else you can think of. For the older kids, there are probably about 60 or 70 kids who are young teenagers in this home, and some kids that are your age, believe it or not. That are in this home. They're either orphans or they have big trouble in their families and they're not able to stay with their parents. And there are more than 200 plus children, ages infant to 18 at this place. And we actually eat dinner with them and we do programming with them on that evening. And we also give them gifts. They love the gifts. And for the older kids who are in their teens, some of you might want to bring, we're not sure who you're going to be matched up with, some of you might want to bring like something that like from a college, like, a UF something or FSU or whatever. Think of something that you would like, that somebody would like, but don't spend a lot of money, or find something that's lightly used in your house. And by all means, we saw it over the last 3 or 4 years that they love having us there. So we hope that you'll do that. Also, each one of you, we gave you a rock, remember? And we decorated a rock because we go to cemeteries, and part of Jewish tradition is we don't leave flowers, we leave stones. And if we're going to be at a cemetery almost immediately, put that in your check bag. In your backpack that you're going to bring on the plane. Also, for those of you that want to review and watch this again, we have people that are being live streamed. It's going to be on our website, on our YouTube channel. It's called March of the Living Southern Region on YouTube. And there's information that we went over tonight that will be there. We hope that some of you took notes. Finally, just don't want to forget something. Okay. Finally, we do a lot of different types of programs on this trip. It's not just the March of Living and we're done. Every day is really well planned out. And your staff and your bus captains and your educators are incredibly involved in the pre-planning and also on the ground planning. But we also have a lot of communication things that happen. We communicate with people. We try to as much as possible. And this year our communications director, we have a title that's like 20 million words long for Shana. But Shana's been with us for God knows how long, 12 marches already. Am I right? Like I said, 8 marches. I knew this. And Shana's going to walk you through a couple of things that have to do with communication, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shana. It's nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so a few things about communication. Every student that is in this in our program should already be in a GroupMe group according to their bus. Not all students at this point have checked in. I need all of our students to please go, you don't have to do it this minute, but go to their GroupMe group and check in, okay? The bus captains need to make sure that these buses are, everybody's in the bus and you're ready to go. So your notifications need to be on. And okay, good. Okay, next thing, Facebook page. We have a Facebook page. It's called March of the Living Southern Region. I would like all of our parents and all of our students that are still on Facebook. I understand it's not Snapchat. I get it. Okay, but all of our parents, we'd like you to be March of the Living Southern Region. Okay, and every day we're going to be posting, and I need you to know that sometimes we're going to be a day or two late. We are going to be go, go, go all the time, and we will do as best as we can to post every day. We're also going to make sure that we post all of the faces, but it could take a minute or two until you see your own child, so please be patient with us. So it's March of the Living Southern Region. That's going to be the best way. That's the only place we're posting, okay? What else? So I am the parent liaison. So if you have an emergency, like a real emergency, you will be texting with me. So please also be considerate and don't text me at 3 in the morning our time. I'd really appreciate that. Okay, unless it's a true emergency, because it will wake me up. Okay, I just want to touch back on the water bottle for a second. So we're asking everybody to bring a small water bottle because we give you a huge one every day. We have had in the past a lot of people bring metal ones, and I will tell you we have thrown away a lot of the metal ones. Please bring a plastic water bottle. I don't know why, but on like day 3, day 4, they start to stink. And the people are like, I don't want to drink out of this. So please be sure that you bring a plastic water bottle. What else? So we're doing something brand new this year. It's called a Marching Forward Fair. It's going to be on May 19th. It's a Sunday. It's going to be from 3 to 4 here on this campus. What is it? We are inviting all of our students and their parents to come, and it will be an hour with all kinds of Jewish agencies and organizations, things that our students can jump into right after they leave high school. For instance, we're going to have APAC, we'll have Hillel, we'll have Chabad, we'll have the IDC, we'll have Masa is coming. I told them bring another person because Masa does a lot of things. So that's just a little glimpse of who's going to be here. So we've never done one before. So please support us and support the agencies that are coming, and it's opportunities for our kids to do. The last thing I wanted to touch on is items for sale. As you can see, we have our little store here. So we have sweatshirts, we have T-shirts. Now this blue T-shirt, the one I'm wearing actually, we don't give those away. So the only way to get one of these T-shirts is to buy it. These are the shirts that you're gonna find in your backpack. We have hats, we have beanies and kippots. We have some pins, we have lanyards, there's flags. Now, why do we bring Israeli flags? The kids wear them as capes especially on March of the Living Day. You have no idea how many kids from other regions try to track us down and buy flags from us. So the reason why we have things like this pin, the reason why we have them is because we put them on our jackets, as Hinda is going to demonstrate. We have all these pins. So if you'll see on her lapel, they're from all different regions around the world. So trading is a really big deal. I cannot stress enough. It's a really big deal. So you need to bring things to trade. So you can go to the dollar store and get things that say Florida, and you can do that if you want. Or we have some of our March of the Living Southern Region pins for sale. You can trade the hats. All of this stuff is tradable. Okay, and like for instance, LA always has a really cool headband, and Venezuela always has the purple shirt that everybody wants. So all kinds of trading happens. Okay, so when we finish our meeting, which I promise it will be in just a minute, you can get your items that you want to purchase, and over here we're gonna have some staff that are gonna check you out. Okay, and that's the procedure for the store. Okay, so thank you so much. I'm going to hand this back over to Jack.
Thanks, Shay. Okay. Questions? Just raise your hand and yell it out. Do we have a second mic down here? You want to throw one down to us? No. Just yell it out, okay? Let's start from the back. Okay, hi. What? Cell phone plan, they used to do it. They stopped doing it because it just didn't work well. So we recommend that you check with your company. T-Mobile has the best plan overseas, but the others are okay. $10 a day, $5 a day. It really depends on the, whatever you have. You got to ask them, and they'll tell you, and then you just get it for a couple weeks, and they'll charge you that if you want to do that. There will be Wi-Fi in all the hotels. Some of the buses have Wi-Fi, but they don't work that well. Okay, so because when everybody gets on, there's a very small portal. So that's the cell phone question. Yes.
On the note of Wi-Fi calling, if your child doesn't have a plan, which it's fine, that's your agreement with your child. Just please be patient, because when we do get to the hotels, everyone tries to get on the Wi-Fi. So sometimes it might take a little bit of time. So please don't become nervous. Don't get frustrated. Texting works better than calling. So please be understanding if they don't get in touch with you right away. That the Wi-Fi is spotty, especially when we're all trying to get on it at the same time.
Other questions? Yes, we're going to start from the back. Yes. That's a great question. There's an opportunity to do laundry. Only when we first go to Jerusalem to Israel, because they have the best laundry. We did it one year in Akko, and a lot of guys ended up with ladies' stuff in theirs. It wasn't great. We don't do it in any. We tried it a few times in other cities. It doesn't work. So this year we're not doing it. We recommend that when you get to Israel, when we get to the second youth hostel, that you bring like 4 or 5 of those Woolite small packets, and you just dry it out. But we recommend you do that. I do that, so I don't pack pretty heavy. So medical insurance. We first go to your medical insurance, and then the March of Living does have medical insurance in any, God forbid, situation that we deal with. And we're in touch with you in any situation that might happen. Thanks for asking that question. Yes. Yes. Say again. No. No. Water, not food.
Peanut butter. Okay, be careful with peanut butter. Do not put a big thing of peanut butter. Jack had this experience last year. Little packets are fine. Do not put a big jar of peanut butter in your carry-on. They will take that. So if you are putting peanut butter in there or Nutella, little packets only. The rest has to get packed. They will take. All other snacks are fine.
Other questions?
A personal item. You can take a personal item, something small.
There will not be enough room on the buses, so we can't do it. That's the issue. Okay, so that's why we say use the backpack, because then we fit everything on our buses. Okay, please understand that. You can't. Remember, don't overpack. Don't overpack. Trust me on this. Other questions? Yes, Al. If your insurance changed, just be in touch. MOL at Boca Fed on the website, and let us know, or take a picture of it and send it to Ronit. Yes. Shh. As much as possible, yes. If you use your own backpack, nobody's going to beat you up, but make sure you put the tag on there, because it's really for security reasons why we do this. Okay, but thank you for that question. Other questions, Anya? What's the question? Oh, we're flying into Tel Aviv. So from Tel Aviv to JFK on the last flight. Yes, we'll tell you personally about that, okay? Any other questions? Okay, folks, I'm going to tell you what's there. If you're on the blue bus backpacks are over here. If you're on the purple bus, they're over there. If you're on the green bus, they're over there. If you're on what's the other bus? That's over there. Okay, and if you'd like to purchase anything, please come up. Our staff will be happy to help you. Oh, yeah.
I wear this for the whole time. I'll teach you how to pack in a carry-on, and that's all you need for 2 weeks. Okay. It's heavy. Okay. Thank you, sir. You're very welcome.